50% weightage will be given to this verbal ability section. They will be asking you the questions of logical reasoning, data interpretation. So geometry, you will get questions from lines, angles, triangles, polygons, circles. That will be there in this second section of quantitative ability MCQ section, which are of the type of multiple choice. You will be getting +4 for every correct answer. So averages, percentages, simple interest and compound interest, profit and loss. Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you in this session that we have specially recorded for all of you, so that you will be able to understand each and everything about IPMAT Indore examination. Now friends, I understand that you would know that IPMAT Indore is one of the most important examinations that you will be writing after your 12th standard. Now, why this is an important examination? Because of the colleges, the quality of the colleges which are participating in this exam. Now, IPMAT Indore exam is conducted by IIM Indore itself. Now, IIM Indore by far, if I'll talk about all the colleges, all the IIMs which are offering integrated program in management, IIM Indore is one of the best colleges among all these IIMs which are offering IPM program, right? Now, you all must have started your preparation for IPMAT that is going to happen in the year 2026, right? And plenty of you must be planning to start with your preparation. Now, there are plenty of students who have already joined IPMAT Wallah batches, and some students are planning to do so. But in this planning that you are doing, are you actually aware of the pattern of this examination, what it takes to actually get a seat in IIM Indore, right? So friends, I would believe that if we don't understand our goal completely, then we'll not be able to plan a proper strategy to achieve that goal. So in order to plan a proper strategy, we must understand all the areas, all the sections, and inside this section what is lying. So if we have 2 sections or 3 sections, what is the complete pattern of the examination, what is the marking scheme. Now if we have let's say two sections in IPMAT Indore, then what is the composition of these 2 sections, how many subjects are being tested. So all these things we should be well prepared with in order to ace this examination. So friends, I'm Gaurav Gupta, and today in this session, I'll be discussing everything about IPMAT examination. Now, starting from the pattern, we'll be discussing the marking scheme, and then we'll be discussing the syllabus of each and every section that we see in IPMAT Indore exam, right? So let's begin with this session. First of all, talking about the paper pattern. Now, whatever I'll be discussing in today's session is according to the official website of IIM Indore, right? So I have not made up anything by myself. Everything is mentioned like this in the official or on the official website of IIM Indore. So I've just copied this data and I'm putting it across in front of you in very simple and plain language, so that you all will be able to understand everything that I want to convey for all of you. Now, IPMAT Indore exam pattern, now you will see 3 different sections in this particular exam. Now, these 3 different sections are not on 3 different subjects, right? So let's have a look at these 3 sections one by one. Now, section number 1 will be quantitative ability. And what do we mean by SA? Now, SA means subjective answers. Now, here you will have to type in the final answer that you will get, right? So in this first section of quantitative ability, that is SA type, you will be getting a total of 40 minutes to complete this section, right? And there will be 15 questions. Now the overall weightage that will be given to this section will be 25% as mentioned on the official website of IIM Indore, right? Great. Now the second section, so once these 40 minutes will be over, you will get to start with the second section. And second section once again will be quantitative ability, but this time you will not have to type in the answers. You will be given options. So all these questions will be of multiple choice questions. Once again, you will get 40 minutes for this section and there will be 30 questions in this. Now, if I talk about the weightage, again 25% weightage will be given to this particular section, right? Now, the third section will be verbal ability. Again, 40 minutes will be given to you, and this time you will be asked 45 questions in verbal ability, wherein all these questions will be multiple choice questions, right? Now, a 50% weightage will be given to this verbal ability section, right? Now, we'll be discussing the composition of these sections. Now, one important thing that you must note down is there is no separate section of logical reasoning or data interpretation, as you can see in this pattern, right? So that does not mean that you will be they'll not be asking you the questions of logical reasoning, data interpretation. Yes, they will be asking you the questions of logical reasoning, data interpretation, but the weightage given to this particular area is very less. So they don't have any separate section, the way we can see a separate section with equal weightages in IPMAT Rohtak examination or JIPMAT exam, right? So here you don't have a separate section, but you will be getting 5 questions on logical reasoning or data interpretation, right? So I'll tell you the details of this particular thing. So first of all, these 5 questions of either logical reasoning or data interpretation, that will be there in this second section of quantitative ability MCQ section, right? So these 5 sections will belong to a single set, right? So there will be one set of 5 questions, as we have seen over the past 5 or 6 years happening in the examination of IPMAT Indore. So all these 5 questions will belong to a single set. So either there will be a single set of 5 questions from logical reasoning, from any area of the logical reasoning. So it can be either games and tournaments, it can be arrangements, linear arrangements, circular arrangements, right? So it can be from any of the area of logical reasoning, or it can be from any of the type of question on data interpretation. Now, data interpretation, the data that can be given to you in the form of either bar graph or pie chart or tables and so on and so forth, right? So you will get 5 questions which will belong to a single set that will be on the area of either logical reasoning or data interpretation. And these 5 questions, I'll not say they'll be hidden, okay? So these 5 questions will be there among these 30 questions of quantitative ability in this second section, wherein all the questions will be of multiple choice type, all right? Fine. So you will be tested on all the 3 parameters: quantitative ability, verbal ability, and logical reasoning or data interpretation in this paper, right? Now, going further, let's talk about the marking scheme. Now, the marking scheme is very simple. So for all the questions which are of multiple choice, which are of the type of multiple choice, you will be getting +4 for every correct answer and -1 for every wrong answer for all MCQs, right? Now, for all the questions which are of the type SA, subjective answer, in that case, you will be getting +4 for every correct, but there is no negative marking, right? So there is no negative marking for essay type questions, right? So what you can do is, even if you have got the answer, you're not sure about that answer, I would recommend that you must type your answer. In case you can have, like, you can make guesses about the answer, you can estimate the answer, you can approximate the answer. So logical approximations proves to be very handy when it comes to this first section. Great. So this is the examination pattern. Now, what will be there inside these 2 sections? Let's talk about the syllabus, right? Now, first of all, quantitative techniques, quantitative ability as it is. So all these areas will be tested. So what I can say is quantitative ability is divided into different areas, Now, questions can be asked from arithmetic, they can be asked from algebra, modern mathematics, geometry, or number system, right? Now, in this examination, yes, you will be getting questions from higher mathematics also, right? So higher mathematics topics like matrices, determinants, right? And vector algebra and so on so forth, that will be taught to you separately in the classes. Now, if I talk about, most of these areas are written in front of you. So as you can see, number systems, which I mentioned earlier, then the topic from arithmetic. So if I talk about arithmetic, you will have percentages and its applications in profit and loss and simple interest, compound interest. Talking about ratios and its applications in averages, mixtures and allegations, this area will also be tested. Now, other topics of arithmetic contains the questions on time and work and time, speed, distance. So if I'll mark all the topics here which belongs to arithmetic, so I'll just write AR in front of them. So averages, percentages, simple interest and compound interest, profit and loss, then ratios and proportions, partnerships, mixtures and allegations, time, speed, distance and work related problems, and pipes and systems. Now, work related problems and pipes and systems, they are one and the same thing. So all these areas belong to arithmetic, right? Now talking about algebra, yes, it will have a good weightage in this examination. And if I talk about the topics of algebra, yes, they are comparatively difficult as compared to any other topic. Now, roots, surds and indices, they belongs to algebra. I'm writing AL in front of them. Algebraic formulas, linear and quadratic, these two areas, they belong to algebra, right? Now, moving on this side, I would say matrices, determinants, functions, logarithms. So matrices, determinants, this is a little bit of higher mathematics, but definitely functions and graphs, logarithms, this belongs to algebra, right? Now, after algebra, arithmetic and number systems, you can be asked questions from geometry, right? So geometry, you will get questions from lines, angles, triangles, polygons, circles, and mensuration, right? Not much of coordinate geometry is asked. So this area is for geometry. And further about modern mathematics. So modern mathematics is composed of permutation, combination, and probability, right? So permutation, combinations, probability, yes, it is here as a part of modern mathematics. Okay. Now, all these questions not only will test you on your ability of remembering the formulas, remembering the concepts, but they will be testing you how good you are in the application of those formulas that you have learned and the application, the usage of the concepts that you have understood, right? So these examinations, the entrance examinations that we write, these examinations are more of logic based examination, wherein they'll be testing you your ability to answer these questions in a quicker environment, like in a test taking environment. They will not be testing much of knowledge. कितना cram कर सकते हो ये चीज नहीं पूछी जाएगी, ये चीज टेस्ट नहीं होगी, but your ability, your test taking skills, all these things will be tested in such examinations, right? Now friends, moving on to the next area, that is verbal ability, the third section. So all these things will be tested in the verbal ability, right? Now, you will find questions from almost every area, almost every domain of verbal ability. So if I'll start from reading comprehension, so reading comprehension will test how good you are when it comes to reading. Now, reading is a complete package. Now, reading involves the speed at which you read, the pace at which you understand or interpret things, and the way you will be applying those things that you have read, how good you are in remembering those things, and then apply those things on the questions that are asked after this reading comprehension, right? So everything is tested in reading comprehension. So reading comprehension is one area that cannot be conquered in a matter of 10 to 15 days. This is nothing but a skill building exercise. So you need time to build up skills. So you need to start practicing or start, I would say, whatever it takes to improve a reading comprehension thing, right? So iske liye kya karna hai? What you need to do is you have to start with reading newspapers, magazines, articles, and so on and so forth. Not just read, but try to understand all these things so that it will help you not only in reading comprehension, but in the other areas as well. Now, reading comprehension can help you directly in RC passages. Also, it may help you in the questions like para jumbles, para completions, vocabulary, grammar, and so on and so forth, right? So you will get questions from these areas like roots, idiom phrases, analogies, antonyms, synonyms, foreign words and phrases, nouns and pronouns and their errors, subject-verb agreement, prepositions, conjunctions, tenses, modifiers, parallelisms. Inference-based questions can be there, syllogisms, logical consistency, and deductive reasoning, right? So like I told you that you may be asked questions from each and every domain of verbal ability in this particular section, having 45 questions, right? Now friends, now that you know the entire syllabus and the paper pattern, now what it takes after the examination is over. Now, IIM Indore will not admit you solely on the basis of your performance in IPMAT. Now, they will be having two stages. Stage number 1 is definitely the written examination, and stage number 2 is personal interview. Now, in this personal interview, they'll be testing your personality. They'll be asking you like your goals, your area of interest, and they will be judging you on your academic track record as well, how much knowledge that you have about the things that you have already studied in the past. Also, they'll be testing you on your general awareness, how much you are aware about the things that are happening around you in this world, right? So you must be like knowing the general awareness or the current affairs of the last 6 to 8 months, right? Now the examination is going to happen the next year in the month of May or June, and these interviews happens somewhere in the month of June or July, right? So starting from June, July next year, so in the reverse order, in the reverse chronological order, you just pick up all the current affairs of the last 8 to 10 months, right? So that means you need to develop this reading habit of newspapers and magazines starting from this month onward, right? So if you start this month, then you'll be able to like maintain this reading habit, gain this reading habit, and you'll be able to continue it till the examination, right? So make sure that you are preparing for quant and verbal ability, and simultaneously you are also focusing on your current affairs and general awareness, right? So friends, all the very best for this IPMAT examination, and we'll be bringing some more sessions that will help you in knowing more about this examination, and hence it will catalyze your preparation for the examination. All right, so friends, all the very best. We'll see you again. Bye bye.